Hey, I'm back here with a new topic for you, and this time it is one-word substitution. One-word substitutions form an essential part of our vocabulary. It is a process where in place of a group of words or a phrase, a single word is used to make the sentence more lucid. It is considered to be one of the most important topics of SSC, CGL and many more competitive exams. They can be asked in the form of MCQs, means choose the correct option, and also in comprehension section. We need to remember one thing here, that while using that particular one word, the meaning of the whole sentence should not be changed. And for that, we need to learn and master the art of using them properly. So let's get going. So let's see the first one. What do we call a person who changes sides or who deceives or betrays someone? And we call it a turncoat. And the sentence for this is, he was labelled as a turncoat after he changed his political party. The other one is related to the sense of hearing or the science of sound, and we call it acoustic. And the sentence for this is, the sound of acoustic songs filled the auditorium with thrill. Let us see what do we call a person who is set free by law, and we call it acquit. And the sentence for this is, the judge directed the jury to acquit Mr. Hawkins of the murder. Let us see what do we call an enclosure, or you can see a house for breeding, nursing and keeping birds, and we call it aviary. And the sentence for this is, the zoo has a new outdoor aviary. Do you know what do we call a person who walks in sleep? And we call it somnambulist. And the best example of somnambulist in the history of English is Lady Macbeth. The sentence for this is, the somnambulist has no idea she sleepwalks to the neighbor's house almost every night. And now I wish you use these words and make your own sentences and quickly post them in the comment section. The next group of words is a person's peculiar habits. What do we call these peculiar habits of a person? And we call it idiosyncrasy. And the sentence for this is, his biggest idiosyncrasy involves in repeating back what I say. You must have seen a dummy for displaying clothes or a full-size model of a human figure. Do you know what do we call it? And we call it mannequin. The sentence for this is, she was too fat to be a mannequin. There are some people who are simple-hearted and can easily be deceived. Do you know what do we call them? We call them gullible. The sentence for this is, though I am simple but not gullible enough to be deceived by anyone. If you meet a person who does not believe in the existence of God, what do we call that sort of person? We call that person agnostic. The sentence for this is, I know a few people who are agnostics and do not attend places of worship. If there is a person who commits mistake out of his weakness, what do we call that person? We call him fallible. And the sentence for this is, even though we humans are fallible to some degree, we need to learn how to rise above our weaknesses. Use these words and make your own sentences and quickly post them in the comment section. There are a few things which cannot be changed or cancelled, or you can say impossible to revoke or undo, and we call them irrevocable. And the sentence for this is, it was his irrevocable decision to donate much of his wealth to the charitable houses after he realized the truth of life. What do we call the thing that can cure all diseases and problems? And we call it panacea. And now let us see its sentence. Unfortunately, there is no panacea for a broken heart. Therefore, beware of falling in love with someone who doesn't care. There are some writers who assume some other beautiful name and write under that in place of writing their original name. What do we call that imaginary name? That is pseudonym. The sentence for this is, Eric Blair wrote his novels under the pseudonym of George Orwell. There are some people who are in the habit of using more words than necessary. And what do we call this habit? We call this habit verbosity. The sentence for this is, verbosity can spoil the effectiveness of your speech. Hence, you need to take care of it. There are people who are indifferent to pleasure and pain, means they remain calm and stable. They have lesser emotions and not passionate. And what do we call these people? We call them stoic. And the sentence for this is, seeing dishonest and deceitful people around, it's good to remain stoic. Use these words and make your own sentences and quickly post them in the comment section. Now it is the time to perform your activity where you are supposed to choose the correct option and post it in the comment box. One is a geometrical figure with 8 sides. A. Parallelogram. B. Pentagon. C. Hexagon. D. Octagon. The second one is something that can be easily broken, and the options are A. Fertile, B. Futile, C. Fragile, and D. Docile. The third one is fear of confined places, and choose the right option out of these 4. A. Claustrophobia, B. Pachyphobia, C. Altophobia, and D. Acrophobia. The fourth one is the art of writing or solving the codes, and the options are A. Polygraph, B. Anemograph, C. Autograph, and D. Cryptograph. And the fifth sentence is a large group of insects moving in a mass, and the options are A. Storm, B. Suit, C. Swamp, and D. Swarm. I like seeing your responses in the comment section. Maybe it is some suggestions or your answers, and love responding them all. We know that we are going through the very tough time. But in place of getting disheartened, we need to prove ourselves tougher. Thanks for watching. Like, share and subscribe this video. Stay connected, stay tuned.